Halloween used to mean freedom. No parents, no rules, just three kids in costumes chasing candy and streetlights. I was the clown, Ben was a scarecrow, and Alex wore a sheet with a pumpkin mask. Half ghost, half joke. That night we noticed two older kids following us across every turn. Their masks didn't look funny anymore, they looked fixed. When we cut through the woods to lose them, the dark swallowed everything. Then came the crunch of gravel behind us. Two silhouettes walking in sync. We ran. Branches ripped at us. Every time we stopped, they ran too. By the time we reached Ben's house, we were shaking. But the real terror came later, around 2 a.m., when two sets of footsteps echoed on the driveway and stopped right outside the window. No knock, no laughter, just listening. Years later, in a quiet neighborhood, I was the one handing out candy. The night was nearly over when a girl appeared alone on my porch. Her costume, a torn wedding dress, white face paint, no smile. A man stood by the sidewalk, motionless, watching. She didn't say trick or treat. She just held out a bag. I gave her candy. She turned and left. Fast. Hours later, my phone buzzed. Doorbell motion detected. The same white dress flickered in the corner of the camera frame, then pulled back, as if realizing she'd been seen. Moments later, whispers echoed from the back hallway. A man and a woman, talking softly like they lived there. I ran outside and called the police. The footage showed them running out of my front door. When I was 15, Halloween meant boredom more than excitement. My friend Aiden and I stayed in the basement watching a horror movie, lights off. Halfway through, something upstairs moved, soft, careful thumps. Then a deep voice called down the stairs, "Aiden!" Again, "Aiden!" We froze. The basement door creaked open. Boots descended one by one. Through a crack in the utility closet, we saw him. Tall, searching, rifling through boxes like he belonged there. Then he looked at the TV screen, still frozen mid-scene, whispered Aiden's name once more and walked away. We waited an hour before calling for help, but the man had vanished. The police found nothing. Whoever he was, he knew our names. A few years later, I lived alone in a quiet house. I didn't decorate for Halloween. Just one wooden ghost my sister gave me. A man knocked on my door one afternoon. Puffy jacket, wide smile. He said he loved my decorations. I only had one. 2 days later, he returned, still smiling, talking too long. I shut the door in his face. On Halloween night, I saw him again across the street, watching. Later, at 11 p.m., he knocked, holding a small box. "Got something for you," he said through the door. I called the cops. He left before they arrived. They never found him, but I knew he wasn't gone. He had been studying my doorbell, my lights, my routines, like I was a project waiting to be finished. One Halloween, my friend Jason and I wandered too far into a new neighborhood. Bigger houses, longer driveways, no kids in sight. The last house on the road had its door open, faint candlelight inside. A man stood in the crack, smiling too much. "Candy's just down the hall," he said, eyes wide like glass. We ran before he could move. As we reached the next turn, an old car idled by the trees. Inside, that same face, the same eyes. Headlights burst alive. We sprinted until normal houses reappeared, but I knew then it wasn't a coincidence. They didn't just show up at random places, they followed us from one Halloween to the next. It took me years to realize it's always the same two people. The costumes change, their faces don't. Sometimes a bride, sometimes a neighbor, sometimes a man in the woods. They appear at thresholds, doors, cameras, basements, windows. They never force entry. They wait for you to open the door yourself. This Halloween, the doorbell pinged again. The camera caught nothing but darkness, but under my couch I found something new, a small wooden ghost. Cut from the same wood as mine, painted by the same hand. Only this one had two pinhole eyes, tiny black lenses watching. I keep it on the shelf now where they can see it, because they're still out there, waiting for someone new to notice them. The people who never take off their costumes.